Evening, folks. Figure we talk a little bit more today. A lot of stuff's happened in the last 24 hours. We've had tweet storms, so to speak. Everything going on with the riots. Um, I do want to touch on some of our president's tweets. He said he wants to remove Section 230 as a means of controlling Twitter and Facebook. Well, if you read Section 230, hey Matt, hey James, Section 230, hey Rick, Section 230 basically says that the platforms could then become publishers. So what that would do, in a sense, instead of, it'll do the opposite of what Trump wants. Because what would happen is that would mean that they could be liable for anything that was published on their platform, which means they could further restrict what we post in order to protect themselves. So there we go again, another government fix. Heck, I've been banned from Facebook, 60 days this year alone. I hate the way they operate, but I'm on their platform. So, I'm not begging and saying, we need to stop this kind of stuff because I think it's wrong. I mean, that would be like them telling me I can't hang a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, a Gadsden flag in my front yard. It's the same principle. We'll move on a little bit. I want to talk Minneapolis. I don't condone. I said it last night, and I'm saying it again, right? Hey, George, I don't condone the looting and all, but if we go back to the American Revolution, they looted, they burned. Heck, who else has heard? No, we have all heard about the Boston Tea Party, but how many people have heard about the Annapolis Tea Party? They actually burned a ship to the waterline full of tea for delivering after there was a sanction imposed. So this happens throughout history, throughout the world. This is what happens when people have had enough. Of course, there's bad actors on both sides of it. What's appalling, three things that came out in the last 24 hours. The DA said he couldn't find, initially said he couldn't find any evidence to say the guy broke any rules. Well, they arrested him, but they only charged him with murder, third-degree murder, which is like manslaughter. And now the medical examiner's office says that he didn't die of asphyxiation or anything. So who knows? This is ugly. As it sits right now, I wouldn't even be surprised that he gets full acquittal. That's how the system's set up to protect those bad actors. It's disgusting to say the least. National Guard is in Minneapolis, and I hope cooler heads prevail and people don't go out there and get shot. But in one sense of it, I would, I hope they are consistent and stay there all night. Just because the American people need to see that our government does not have our best interests at heart. It's only about protecting themselves, and people need to see it. I think people are tired of it. And you conservative folks, quit being hypocrites. I'm sorry. I know this hurts your feelings, but you're being hypocrites. Because last week you were like, the big box stores are all open up. They're all making millions and millions of dollars, and the mom and pops aren't making anything. And now all of a sudden, when somebody loots a Target, you're like, these thugs are looting stores. They shouldn't do that. Make up your mind, guys. Make your mind up. Target and all them, they're corporatists, right? They're getting huge dividends from all this. I mean, this benefited them. I'm not saying I condone robbing those, looting stores, but I also got some pictures that's coming out too of people walking out of some of these buildings with food and washing detergent and different things like that. I mean, do you want to be the National Guard guy to shoot somebody with a handful of food or washing detergent? I sure as hell wouldn't want to be. Somebody gets a TV. I mean, yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't shoot anybody for carrying a TV. That's the whole thing. When the president said when the looting starts, the shooting starts, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, none of them, things can be replaced. All these big corporate businesses, they're heavily, heavily insured. Not to say that it's right, but I'm just saying, I mean, choose what hill you want to die on, so to speak, right? Nothing's going to bring this young man that got killed back. And the other thing is, too, we looked at the family, but you know who else is a victim in this? That officer's family. They're victims because they may very well have to move. Those kids may never, his children may never be able to go to school again in that area. Arizona. His kids and family are probably going to be shunned by the community they live in. They're going to have to drop probably everything they've ever done and pack up and leave to get away from it for what their father did. And he's probably going to lose pension minimum. I mean, he'll lose all his pension and everything. So he's going to leave them financially, a financial crisis. They're going to have to drop their whole life and move just because of his poor actions. So his family are just as much victims. Not to mention the other officers on the force. They're victims too because they've got to answer for it. And it's not a good situation all the way around. I just wanted to say hi, though, everybody. I won't keep you too long. I know it's Friday night. And places are starting to open back up and people want to get out of the house. Be careful, folks. If you go to any of these protests, keep your head about you. Keep your head on a swivel. You see a hot spot, just kind of move away from it. I mean, you don't need to get involved to the point to where you're putting yourself at risk. Bring signs, scream and holler, bring a megaphone. That's all great. Just be careful, folks. And love y'all. Talk to you later.